I really shouldn't have a calendar behind me when I film things so out of order. Oh well. Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing another book review. I have read more books because, well, I just have. So today we're going to be reviewing some books. The first book I will be reviewing is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Anna Karenina, you'd think, would be a story about, I don't know, Anna Karenina, but it mostly isn't. One could argue that it's just as much about Anna Karenina as Moby Dick is about Moby Dick. Like, she's there, and you do talk about her. There are important plot points that happen around her, but mostly you're just talking about farming, communism, and other politics. I learned a lot about farming. I learned a lot about ideas surrounding communism and the way that the common people should be either together or separate from the nobility or the wealthy people. It wasn't even from Anna Karenina's point of view. We only saw her a few times. We talked about her a little bit, but it's just not about her. It's not about her. It's about the society that surrounds her, which I think is very interesting. The language itself is very good. It's a very good book. It's wordy, which is difficult to get through, but it's wordy in a Russian literature sense and not in a fan fiction written by a 15-year-old who just bought a thesaurus sense. It doesn't make you want to rip your hair out, or at least it didn't want to make me rip my hair out. That being said, I was bored while reading it, so I will give Anna Karenina a 3 out of 5. The next book on my list is Skinship by Yoon Choi. I loved this book. It was just one of those books that showed up on my Libby app, which is a library app for digital books. It's essentially a collection of short stories that focus on the Korean American experience through different perspectives. And I loved every single story. There are a few that were a little graphic, but not in a gratuitous way. The graphicness made sense given the context, and I do appreciate that. I appreciate not having graphic scenes just so that there's something graphic in there. The stories were heart-touching and thought-provoking, and even though I read it through a library book, I don't actually own the book. It is a book that I will look into purchasing because I do want to read it again and again and again and again. There were certain phrases that popped out at me that I just wanted to, you know, that's the best way I can describe it. I just want them in my soul. So I give Skinship a 5 out of 5. And the final book that I read was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't speak French, so I don't really know. Unlike Anna Karenina, Rebecca does follow the story very vaguely of Rebecca. It is centered around this character, but it's really interesting because that character isn't physically there. And I don't know how much I can say without spoiling the whole thing. The book was originally published in 1938, but because I enjoyed it so much and I had absolutely no idea what the plot twist was going to be, I will not be giving it away. So I'm not going to tell you about the plot twist, and I'm not going to tell you about how Rebecca is related to any of it. I highly suggest you read the book. And if you can't read the book for whatever reason, you're not into reading, you tried reading it, you couldn't get through it, I do recommend watching the movie adaptation, specifically the 1940s movie adaptation. That is so good. It follows the story of the novel, it keeps all of the suspense, and the characters just fit. I think it's partially because the movie was adapted very close to the time that the story was written, so there is that time period congruence that you don't always get with period pieces. But it's also interesting because both the movie and the book, because they were published at the same time, are appealing to the same audience who have the same expectations, as opposed to the 2020 version on Netflix, because the new audience will have new assumptions as to what a good movie should contain, be it certain effects, certain makeup or hairstyles, costuming decisions, the amount of skin that's showing, different social etiquettes. Those have changed over the time and we don't fully recognize that. And so when a movie is made for a 2020 audience based off of a 1940s story, there are going to be some incongruent facts or events, such as hair, makeup, fashion, or social behaviors. And when you have the movie come out with the book or within the same general time period, you don't have that mismatch, which is why I think the 1940s movie works better than the 2020 Netflix version. Long story short. You could describe Rebecca as a thriller or mystery. It is full of suspense. You don't quite know what the twist is going to be until it happens. And even then, there are more things that happen. I did get a little bit bored near the end for certain reasons. I know the genre that I like, and things in the courtroom are not it. There's too much room for corruption in a place that I really feel that there should not be corruption, which is part of the reason why I can't watch courtroom dramas or read books that deal exclusively with courtroom issues. It's why I have a really hard time with certain serial killer or true crime podcasts when they focus a lot on the courtroom proceedings. It just makes me so frustrated. So that happens. But I would give Rebecca a 4 out of 5, and I'm definitely going to be reading Rebecca again because now that I know what the twist is, I want to see if there's anything that I just missed while reading it the first time. You know, some authors are really good at sort of weaving the twist in a way that you couldn't notice that it's coming unless you've already read it. So I'm very excited to read it again and see all of the little bits. So that is my review of the last 3 books that I've read: Anna Karenina, Skinship, and Rebecca. The one I'm looking forward to rereading the most is Rebecca, and the book I will be reading next is The Help. So let me know what you are reading in the comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of these other books and you have opinions as well on them. And I will see you guys when I see you. Bye!
Choo 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 choo.